Alright, this is it. This one's for all the marbles. We saw both these players throughout the evening. Jordy in round 1, Vincent in rounds 2 and 3. Both really good players. So this is definitely, most likely, going to be quite a banger. We have Vincent on the right playing Blood Eldrazi. It's the deck he's most known for, the deck he's most comfortable with. It's a Blood Sun deck, not a Blood Moon deck, playing the mid-range Eldrazi threats, Thought-Knot Seer, Reality Smasher, alongside some Chalices, some Rabble Masters, just the red stompy side of things. On the left we have Jordy playing Abzan Maverick, definitely not his normal deck, so I would say based on that he's probably not favored, but he is still a really good player, so I expect him to do just fine on the deck. We have a bit of a ramp start from Jordy here, and a pretty fast clock from Vincent here, playing a turn 2 Rebel Master. Gonna come in for a bit of damage. Jordy gonna wasteland the Ancient Tomb, then swords the Rebel Master, putting Vincent back up to 20. But now Vincent has no threat. He has a 1/1 Goblin. I don't consider that much of a threat, but he has 2 mana, looks like. Is gonna be able to stomp the Birds of Paradise here. But yeah, Vincent's deck is very much built around fast mana. He has the full 4 Simeon, the full 4 Ancient Tomb. I think he has 3 City of Traders, because the city does have some synergy with Blood Sun. If you have Blood Sun in play, you can just keep playing lands and the City of Traders just stays on the field. So I wouldn't be surprised if Vincent is playing just a couple more. But we'll see. Now it looks like Jordy is just trying to get some mana under him. Scavenging Ooze coming down is at least going to be able to block the Goblin token. But other than that, it doesn't really do it here. It's fine for now, but Jordy is most likely just looking for something more to do at this point. Probably needs a bit more mana. Well, we're about to find out. Thought-Knot Seer coming down from Vincent here. And yeah, looks like Jordy could definitely use some mana here. He has a Dryad Arbor, he has a Knight of the Reliquary, Mother of Runes, and Grist the Hunger Tide, which is a pretty new card. I'm gonna look it up real fast, because it has a bit of text. The key thing here is that as long as Grist isn't on the field, it's also just a 1/1 insect creature, which allows for some really interesting shenanigans, like being able to Green Sun Zenith for it. That's right, you heard me right. It's a Planeswalker you can Green Sun Zenith for. That's that's shenanigans. I like shenanigans. It's very clear that in the design of Grist they were kind of going a bit of a cautious route, because this is very much unexplored design space. So I appreciate them just kind of taking it back a bit. The abilities, while influential, aren't really blowing anyone's mind. The +1 is you make a 1/1 insect, then you mill a card. If it's an insect, you +1 it again, essentially. -2, you sack a creature, and you can then destroy target creature or planeswalker, which it's a pretty good removal spell. It's definitely not bad. And then the -5, each opponent loses life equal to the number of creature cards in your graveyard. So, also gives you a bit of reach. I think for a 3-mana Planeswalker, the card is fine. But of course, the fact that it's a creature that you can Green Suns for it, and then you have a tutorable removal spell is just a really powerful effect. Definitely a very nice addition to at least Legacy. Less so Modern, because you don't have Green Sun Zenith, but definitely an interesting card to have in the format. I think it's for the better, but maybe somebody out there really hates the card for some reason. I don't know. You hate it? Tell me why, because I need to know. We have, let's see, a Shatter Skull Smashing coming up from Vincent here. And on the backside, Shatter Skull Smashing is a red source, so that's pretty good. But it's also just a mana sink, allows you to kill a couple creatures, which looks like Vincent is using here, getting rid of the Mother of Runes, getting rid of the Scavenging Ooze. And yeah, Dryad Arbor and Noble Hierarch aren't really the scariest things to have at this point. Now, still mana. Still definitely mana. Which could potentially lead to some shenanigans with Knight Reliquary somewhere down the line, but it doesn't look like we are there at this point. I think there are 2 lands in the graveyard. There are. So the Knight is a 4/4. Now, I'm thinking if Vincent attacks with these Thought-Knot here, then the Knight can't block, right? Like, I'm thinking if there's a way where the Dryad Arbor and the Knight of the Reliquary block. Oh yeah, because then you sign damage and the Dryad Arbor doesn't. Yeah, okay, now that doesn't work the way I thought it would. I was like, yeah, and then the Dryad Arbor dies and the Knight of Reliquary goes, so it doesn't die. But no, that's complete nonsense. I'm talking out of my ass. Jordy is going to chump block with the Dryad Arbor and take 1 off the token. Maybe he's worried that there's some sort of removal spell coming out from Vincent here. It's possible. As we see a seltzer coming across the field and a glass for Jordy here with a slice of lemon. Because Jordy always wants it met een citroentje. with a slice of lemon. Yeah, love these players, just terrific guys. I love them. Let's see what we got here. Vincent tapping his Ancient Tomb. A Chalice of the Void for 1? What else happened? I feel like something else happened. Oh yeah, the Blood Sun. I'm an idiot. So Blood Sun, part of the blood in Blood Eldrazi. It doesn't turn off anything mana related, but any other abilities that a land may have are just removed. So you still have to pay 2 life for the Ancient Tomb, but you don't have to sacrifice your City of Traders. It also means that any fetches that Jordy may have just don't work anymore. As we get a second Thought-Knot Seer coming down here. And yeah, Vincent is presenting a clock. No, not really. I mean, Jordy still has the Knight of Reliquary. Now, interesting to note, actually, if Jordy decides to go for Yavimaya here, because of the way layering works, Blood Sun doesn't actually prevent the Yavimaya from making everything a forest. Like, it comes into play, everything becomes a forest, and then it loses the ability. It's really weird. We had that a couple weeks ago when I was playing the deck against Vincent, and yeah, if you get Yavimaya, you can actually tap it for green. So, fun little fact. Not sure if Jordy knows that. He might not. Then again, getting a Gaia's Cradle here is pretty decent. Pretty decent. Thalia is probably not the most effective card here, but there is still a Knight of Reliquary, which is a somewhat decent blocker here. Like, there are 2 Thought-Knot Seers on the field, but they... like, you don't really want to attack with them. Like, you're just gonna give free cards to Jordy here. And this is kind of the stalemate position that we sometimes find ourselves in with the Maverick deck. Something that, you know, since I've started casting Legacy games, I've seen a bunch of Maverick come by, because we have a really good Maverick player in Alex, of course. And it seems that Maverick is a little prone to creating these massive board stalls with a Knight of Reliquary in play. Like, maybe it's just unlucky, but it feels like it's just really easy to get this going. Maybe a bit too easy. It's happened a lot, though. It's happened a lot. Vincent, thinking about something here. 3 mana, it's... could be a Rebel Master, it could be just hard casting Simian Spirit guy, because you don't really need the mana here. No, oh, I completely forgot about this card. Eldrazi Obligator. It's 2 in a red for a 3/1. When it enters the field, you can pay 1 and a colorless, which would basically be the Ancient Tomb in this case, yeah. And then gain control of target creature, and then the whole shebang until end of turn. Whole shebang being gets haste, you untap it. So yeah, if this Obligator is coming down, I'm assuming he's going to take the Knight of the Reliquary here. Which would still be a 3/3 actually, because Vincent does have a land in the graveyard. Which is surprisingly relevant, because that means that Jordy can't actually favorably block his own Knight of the Reliquary. Not that I think he would, because he gets it back during the end step, but he's gonna get it now. Because now there are a number of Thought-Knot Seers, there are a number of 3 power threats, and there's still that 1/1 Goblin from the start. There's still that 1/1 Goblin. He's going the distance. Looks like Jordy is going to activate the Knight in response here. Probably a good call. Unfortunately, doesn't keep it tapped, but does allow Jordy to get something. Again, he is playing Yavimaya, and I think Yavimaya would actually be pretty decent, because that means the Windswept Heath can then be rotated away, despite there being a Blood Sun on the field. Doesn't go for it. I don't know if Jordy knows. Again, this isn't Jordy's deck. This isn't what he usually plays. Normally you have him on lands. So it's possible he knows. Then again, how often do you get paired against Blood Sun? Right? Because under Blood Moon, it doesn't work. It absolutely does not work that way. But on the Blood Sun, it does. Which... yeah, it's really weird. And like it makes sense from a rules perspective, like rules that were established years ago, but it's definitely not intuitive. So maybe Jordy knows. Jordy, let me know in the comments. Do you know Yavi Maya still works under a Blood Sun? Yes or no? And if you know, what's going through your head here? I'm really interested. Okay, now I know what's going through your head. You want to go to game 2. Wow. So, yeah, I think that's probably a good call. Now, if you watched Vincent in round 4 against Get It, you'll be happy to know that my beef stew is still going strong. I have it in a slow cooker, and while I love having a slow cooker, like, that thing drives me up the fucking wall. Like, I cannot think of anything else other than the sambal and coconut milk smell that is permeating my house right now. And it's okay, I'll live. But yeah, no, we'll get there. For game 2, let me pull up a sideboard for Jordy here, because this is maybe a little harder to interact with. I think most of the things you want are already in the main. Think like Wasteland, think like Mother of Runes. So it's probably going to be very light sideboarding. On Vincent's side, he may consider Dead and Gone. If you didn't see that card during the last video, it is a split card. The Dead side is 1 red, deal 2 damage. The Gone side is 2 in a red to bounce a creature, which could be relevant. Like, you could bounce a Knight of the Reliquary, break the board stall, and just turn everything sideways. I like that. I'm definitely not opposed to that, so we might see that here. I'm guessing Vincent also is playing a number of Fiery Confluence here. That sounds like a terrific card in this matchup as well. Maybe not so much against Knight of Reliquary, but you know, it's great against everything else, I would imagine. On Jordy's side, I'm not really a fan of anything I'm seeing here. He could consider Plague Engineer. Maybe he really doesn't want the Blood Sun. He could bring in Force of Vigor. Maybe try and snipe a Chalice with it as well. Maybe. We'll have to see. Anyway, Wasteland from Jordy here doing some good work. Getting rid of that Eldrazi Temple. We'll have to see if Vincent is actually going to feel that one. Maybe the fact that he had to play City of Traders. No, that doesn't actually matter because he has the Blood Sun. Right. Right, moving on. If Vincent can draw like a mountain, he's probably fine. Do think he has a Reality Smasher in hand. Looks like it, so like a 5th mana would be pretty sweet here. Meanwhile, Jordy just throwing down the gauntlet, like, yeah, I'm not gonna give you the time to do anything here. Just Knight of the Reliquary beats. And the knight, if the knight can go beats, then it's a pretty good card. That's a pretty effective creature here. Let's see, we have Fault Not Seer. Gonna find Endurance. Gonna get exiled. Because Jordy does not have the mana to play it. And the other card being a Verdant Catacombs. It's gonna be able to grow the knights, and that can get out of control real fast. The knights are already 4/4. With the fetch, they are 5/5. So the Thought Not Seer is no longer trading, it's now chumping. And I think personally, I would have just swung with both of them, to be honest. Just crack the Catacombs. Swing with 2 5/5s, make you block, and then present lethal next turn. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Script Ranger would have made this math infinitely easier. Okay, the knight attacking, gonna put Vincent down to 8. Stoneforge Mystic coming down. Gonna find something. Don't think Jordy has Cauldra, instead goes for Batterskull. And Vincent's like, yeah, no, that's good enough. I've seen enough. Let's go to game 3. Because again, this isn't Jordy's deck. It's Alex's deck, and I do remember him saying he isn't a fan of Cauldra because it takes up just another slot, and if you draw it, it's not really what you want to be doing. I mean, if you draw it, you need a Stoneforge Mystic, and it's not the worst at that point, but you know, I just trust Alex's opinion on that. Alex, just a very skilled, very established Maverick player, and if he decides that Cauldra is not a fit for his deck, then Cauldra is just not a fit for his deck. It's that simple. I don't know what the standard is with Maverick. If there even is one. The list I have in front of me right now is not even playing the Stoneforge Mystics, which is interesting. I don't disagree with it. I can definitely see a world where you just go more all in on the creature package. Because, yeah, Stoneforge Mystic does feel a little bit out of place, at least from the couple of games that I've played. Don't get me wrong, it is a fantastic card, but I can definitely see a world where you're just more of a toolbox deck, and you try and kind of rotate your way in that direction, but I guess that's also just kind of the beauty of a deck like Maverick. There's just so much flexibility that you can put in your deck. So much of your own play style you can put in the deck. That I think no absolutes in what is right and wrong. More just lots of personal preference. Which, I mean, that's the kind of thing that draws you to a deck, right? Just the ability to customize it to make it your deck. So, yeah, really interesting. We had a quick start from Jordy here. Getting a Dried Arbor off a Green Sun Zenith. We have a turn 2 Blood Sun from Vincent here. Which is going to get hit by the prismatic ending, it looks like. That kind of makes mana a bit more awkward for Vincent here, because that means that he's now going to have to play a second Blood Sun and then not do anything else with him. I was going to say he's going to have to sacrifice City of Traders, but it doesn't look like he's going to. Doesn't look like he's going to have to. And oh yeah, and on top of Blood Sun just stripping lands of their non-mana abilities, it cantrips. Why does it cantrip? Who knows? Now, to be fair, I love the card from a design perspective. Blood Moon is miserable to play against. As effective, as iconic as the card is, it is miserable to play against. Great if you're the one playing the Blood Moons, absolutely, but if you're not the one playing the Blood Moons, then no. No. Blood Sun, however, makes it a lot more fair. Like, being able to hit fetch lands, you know, fine. At least you still got your colors. Being able to hit Wasteland, fantastic. Turning off Roshan imports, keeping dirt depths in check. I love those things. Like, they give you actual interaction with lands that you often need to interact with. When I say often, I mean you need to often interact with. Because if you don't, you just die. So it's just a way of keeping things a little more fair. Now, of course, there are going to be games where you have 1 or 2 fetches left and they're kind of dead. But I think that's still more fine than just screwing you off of ever casting anything for the rest of the game. Like, at least Blood Sun gives you a chance to come out from under it, right? Thought Not Seer coming down here from Vincent. Going to find the Better Skull that he knows of, a Windswept Heath, a Ramanep Excavator, and a Knight of the Reliquary. Now, right now, the Ramanep Excavator isn't really doing anything, but as soon as Jordy finds a Wasteland, then that becomes real scary. Vincent going to take out the Better Skull here, which is the more immediate threat. Knight of the Reliquary still needs a bit of time to get going. The Ramanep Excavator right now, I mean, the Ramanep doesn't really do anything when there's a Blood Sun in play, right? It kinda synergizes with the Reliquary, the Knight of the Reliquary, but that needs time to get going as well. So right now, I think Vincent is definitely correct in taking the Better Skull and trying to find a way to deal with the Knight now that it's on the field. The Knight currently is a 3/3. And Jordy, unfortunately, unable to fill up his graveyard thanks to the Blood Sun from Vincent. I mean, Vincent now has a turn to do something. The question is, what? Vincent still holding a lot of cards. Not sure. I think there was a Chalice of the Void in there that doesn't really do anything. I think Vincent is 1 mana short for a Chandra Awakened Inferno, which would actually be pretty nice here. I'm not gonna lie. That'd be pretty great. Because he does have a bit of breathing room to try and get a couple emblems going and put the clock on Jordy. Vincent is going to choose to attack here. Is he? Yeah, he is. Come on, Vincent, don't do me like this. Yeah, right now the knight isn't really doing anything useful. Because it's still summoning sick. Then starting next turn, I think potentially is gonna start trying to get Jordy back into the game. Oh, actually, you know what I just thought of? And you know, this is the worst, because like I know I asked Jordy, like, hey Jordy, what are you thinking at this point? I think I know what he's thinking. Maybe he just doesn't have Yavimaya. That's a possibility. I still want to know if he knows that's how it works, but even if he does, it's possible that Yavimaya just isn't in his deck. And then I ask him to tell me, and he's typing in the comments, and then after typing, I'm like, oh yeah, no, I figured it out myself, don't worry. That happens way too often. Let's see, we have Mr. Teague coming out from Jordy here. Yeah, Teague actually does do something. It's not great, but it does actually prevent Chandra from coming down. Which, right now, Vince's deck is preventing Chandra from coming down, but, you know. It's nice to have. It's also preventing Chalice, I guess. I mean, if Vincent was gonna play Chalice, I think he would have already. But I don't know, we'll see. You know, what would be real nice right now is Vincent drawing a Fiery Confluence. That'd be fantastic. Just wipe the board. I think that does enough damage to clear everything, even with the Knight activation. Oh wait, actually no, there's a Galactique on the field. Which means we'd also need a Punishing Fire, and then again, maybe we get lucky and Jordy decides to block with the Galactique. I don't know. I'm throwing things. No, Jordy, no, Jordy. I don't think he knows. I don't think he knows. Oh, we might be headed for a massive blowout here. Oh no. Not like this. He's thinking about it. Oh yeah, no, he is. He's just creating a blocker pile here. Yep. And if Vincent is holding the Fiery Confluence, I'm not sure, I can't quite see, but if he's holding the Fiery Confluence, then Teague is dead. Teague is dead. Teague is dead anyway. Oh, that's good. That's good for Vincent here. So the Teague dies, which means Jordy no longer has enough blocker damage to get rid of the Thought-Knot Seer, which means he just lost 3 creatures for 1. Oh, that hurts. That hurts. And he goes to 10. Now he does still have the Knight of the Reliquary, which is also 1 tier bigger now thanks to the Dryad Arbor dying, so not all is lost, but that is not worth it. And there's Yavimaya. and just like that, Jordy just goes for Yavimaya, and I'm sitting here like, what is even happening? Excuse me. Like, did Jordy just want his colors? Is that what's happening? Like, you couldn't go without colors for one turn or something? What am I missing? I'm missing something. I gotta be missing something. Remnant Excavator is actually going to shrink down the Knight Reliquary. So the Knight is a 4/4 again, but it can grow to a 5/5. The Excavator has summoning sick. Yes. Only I can attack though, doing Jordy's first damage of this game. Yeah, this is not where you want to be. Vincent gonna pick up the Punishing Fire. Probably gonna try and kill the Thalia or something or another. I think Vincent is holding the Awakened Inferno and drew the Ancient Tomb, which means Chandra is actually live now. And if Chandra comes down, then I think this game is done. This game's over. No, actually, I don't think he can kill the Knight Reliquary, can he? Or maybe he can kill the Knight, but he has to choose between killing the Knight and killing everything else. I mean, he could. It's just kind of unfortunate that he has to choose. Yeah, because he needs to tap everything to play it, so that wouldn't work. Jordy actually going back up 12 here. Some life gain. Looks like we have Chandra coming down. Finally. I think Chandra has been burning a hole in Vincent's pocket. Pun most definitely intended. And board wipe coming down. Pick him up, Jordy. Pick him up. There we go. Does get the Dryad Arbor back in the graveyard, so he's got that going for him. So the Knight of the Reliquary is now a 5/5. Is gonna sacrifice the Windswept Heath. Gonna go up to a 6/6. And then what are you getting? What do you do against double Thought Knot and a Chandra Awakened Inferno? I think the answer is you go for the Chandra and you make him block. Right? I imagine that's probably going to be the right play. We can still wait and see what Jordy draws for the turn, but I think Vincent can just go, yeah, this is what I have. What do you got? You gotta have it, Jordy. You gotta have it. It's on you now. I should have cooked some rice. Regardless. just some thoughts. I forgot to put up rice. It's fine. I'll live. So after food, I'm recording the next week of Legacy. And then this content just never ends, you know what I mean? it just keeps coming. But I mean, that's what I signed up for, right? I'm doing it because I love it. I'm doing it because I enjoy doing it. So no worries, I'll live. I'm doing this for you guys, okay? So make sure to show me some appreciation. I mean, if you're still watching, that's appreciation right there. I'll give you that. Even if it's not appreciation for me, it's definitely appreciation for this game, because this game's great. Like this is tense. This is a reality smasher coming down, and maybe just killing Jordy through the Night of the Reliquary is like, yeah, I don't care. Go for it. Just turn everything sideways. What else does he have? I think he still has the chalice. He has a Simeon. I think this is pretty much all the gas Vincent had been building up over the past couple turns. Is Vincent not attacking? Is Vincent not attacking? Excuse you. Is he just keeping the blockers to keep Chandra alive? Just play it safe. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes playing it safe is just applying pressure. Right? That makes sense? I feel like it makes sense. Are they in turns? Is that what that dice means? I think that means they are in turns. Yeah, just go face. And now there's a noble hierarch. That gets countered. Never mind, there's not a noble hierarch. Anyway. Get more emblems. We are in turn 3. Which means Jordy gets one more turn of damage from the emblem. Now decides to turn everything sideways. I actually missed 2 life points for Vincent there. Gonna block the Reality Smasher. Is going to take 8 damage, putting Jordy to 3. And then Punishing Fire? Punishing Fire past turn? No, actually, Vincent still has another attack. Or, yeah, just Punishing Fire, and then take your damn turn, man. Or you just pick it up and you punish him again. You go for it again. Vincent, cleaning out the evening, 4-0. What a game.